Oh, there it is.
Oh,
so loud. Blaring in your ear hole. Oh, yes, D-line. Look at that. The vibes, baby. The vibes.
Wow.
You guys listening?
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear you. The music's so freaking loud.
Music is a smidge loud. There's a smidge loud. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. America's top-rated sportsbook app.
Wow.
Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. Guys, I'm excited to be here with you guys. I feel like shit. I got Harrison with me.
Oh, man.
I just can't take you seriously in that desk with that angle, with that microphone, with that corner setup. It's just, it's jarring. Yeah, it's one way I would describe it.
It's classy, man. I mean, I got the window. It's got the window. I got the shelves. I got that top angle, so I don't have a double chin. Vogt, you approve?
Oh yeah, I love it. It's a good set, good angle for you. Lighting looks good, and I'm just glad you got some shit on your shelves, man. It's about time.
You guys have been complaining about my set for 6 months now. It's a travesty.
No, the only thing I was complaining about was that you didn't have anything in your bookshelf. Now you do, so that's been accomplished.
Eric, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I would describe this this intro as inauspicious. This beginning has been inauspicious. Another way I would describe this is a fucking disaster.
Well, the show is going to get on the rails here very quickly because we have a lot to get to. We have some great mailbag questions that are going to take us around the state of the Nuggets, potential roster fillers, and all this different stuff. Also, you guys know it's a good show when the homie Miroslav is going to jump on.
Whoa,
he's going to jump on.
Baby.
Surprise impromptu corner.
Impromptu Miroslav, because I put this out the other day, and I think it's true. This is the season of a knot. The season of a knot. If you're new to the show, you don't know that term, but you're going to learn it here. Miroslav's going to walk us through it again and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm right or wrong about thinking like, hey, there's a reason to dig your heels in and say, hey, let's win the effing championship this year, guys. Seems like there's no reason we should. We lose to the Magic. All of our players are injured or have an illness.
Stay the course.
Stay the course, man. So we're gonna go over.
One thing I know about Miroslav, he's gonna come in hot with some just wild prediction or take. I absolutely know he's gonna have some crazy Jokic take that that I'm getting ready for.
We need that Serbian confidence. That's what he brings. That Serbian, well, of course we're gonna win. What do you mean? We're only down 30. Of course we're gonna win this game. So we need a little bit of that. I gotta say though, I wasn't on the show yesterday. You guys did a great job. I'm just glad I missed that one. Took my day very perfectly.
You know what the worst part is that you were on the show.
I couldn't. It was like a one-way conversation.
Yes, you had literally you had longer to talk than any of us. You had an ISO. You were on the show for a good 10 minutes. But that's not being on the show.
That was more of a grenade. That was an unwanted ISO. That's like pass a guy the ball with 5 seconds left. He's like, okay, I guess I'll cross over.
All the same, you were absolutely on the show yesterday.
All right. Well, I was on the show. We were talking privately, but I want to share this because this is part of the sports experience. This is why when people are like, bow out or whatever when things go bad, it always cracks me up because I'm like, this is part of it. It's so funny when you spend a whole day, and I'm telling you, like I had a lot to do yesterday, but my whole day was centered around the Nuggets game where it's like, get all this dumb stuff done, and then the Nuggets are here, and I get to watch them play, and I'm all excited. And then, like, that happens, and it's the worst thing that's happened to you all week. And you're like, how is this the thing I planned my day around? This thing that just makes me miserable.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, that is honestly the unpredictability of the NBA is what keeps me absolutely addicted to it and just addicted to this job. Because I always say this to everybody that asks me about covering the Nuggets. The best part of my day is going to work because that means I'm watching a game and that means I have no idea what's actually going to happen. I usually have a good idea of what could happen, but you really have no idea what's actually going to happen that night and what the story is going to be. And that's what keeps me coming back to it.
For example,
this is not what keeps me coming back to it, but this is a classic example of you never know what the fuck is going to happen in this sport. And that's the joy of it.
breaking news here as we just pulled up on screen. Mike Singer from the Big Post reporting the Nuggets forward Bol Bol has entered health and safety protocols. So, first off the top, this was the fear, honestly, when Bones went out and Austin Rivers, who, by the way, man, Doc Rivers talked about it the other day. It's not just like he's in the protocols. No, he's actually feeling like shit and had the vax. So a little concerning that he, is going through all that. But your fear was, man, I hope, where does the chain end? Like, as everybody was around each other, they're on the road. Here's another domino to fall. It's Bol Bol. Eric, initial thoughts?
This sucks. Like this is like, it doesn't actually affect our rotation at all because Bol Bol's played about 5 minutes this entire year, and only when it's the game is completely out of hand. But it just sucks, man. It just is just another connection to the team that has another weak link that could cause more chain reaction. And it just shows that, we are so far from being out of this. Like, this is going to be something that we're talking about forever. I don't know. It's crazy. It sucks. I mean, this is terrible. I mean, of course you hope he is just, sort of caught up in that procedural thing. He's not actually ill, but man, what a bummer.
Vogt?
Well, this is why it was such a big talking point in the preseason during media day week. The Nuggets had at least, I believe, 3 unvaccinated players at the start of the season. And that's just too high. And it's why we came out and were pretty critical of Malone and Tim Connolly for what were ultimately some neutral statements. I think if there was any team that might have considered the responsibility of coming out and saying things pretty explicitly, it might have been the Nuggets. So, but it wasn't. And anyway, that's why it's relevant. I'm not saying that any one of these players we've seen in protocol necessarily has it or doesn't, but the reason you're worried about a chain reaction is because there were weak links on this team with regards to health and safety protocol, and it's rearing its head. And for Bol, this is really unfortunate. If he was ever going to get playing time this season, it might have been now, but it's tough. It's one less warm body, even if he wasn't likely to play.
Yeah. And now Mark Stein is reporting that 5 Heat players are not traveling to Indiana. That's the only update. God. So this, it does feel a little bit.
Those are injuries, though. It's not COVID.
It is. You're right, though, Eric. This is one of those things where, like, there was a moment in June of this year where you're like, the pandemic's over. We're out and about. Our lives are going on. This is great. You didn't even think about it. And now here we are in December now of the fall, and you're just like, oh yeah, it's just going to keep being a storyline. And I saw this great comment in here. This is why the Nuggets need to handle games like last night. It's so true, man. This is a season of unpredictability, and you just have to stack wins because you never know if Jokic goes down, you're going to go 0-4 again. So it's a bummer. Bol Bol not in the rotation though, Harrison.
Yeah, so it's not going to affect the rotation. I mean, like you said, you just hope it doesn't affect anyone else. And he was on the bench last night and he was next to guys, but I'm pretty sure everybody he was next to is vaccinated. So those guys should be good as long as they test negative. But yeah, it's rough because Denver just doesn't have that many places to turn. And we're going to talk about a little later, I think, who's a candidate for them to sign to a 10-day contract. This guy could come in and be a savior for this team because that's how thin they are. I mean, the Nuggets had 2 guys that didn't play last night that could have. That was Bol and Vlatko. Now, tomorrow in New York against the Knicks, that's going to be down to just Vlatko. So, not good.
It sucks. Do the Nuggets always get this Eastern road trip that happens around Christmas is always just absolutely terrible for the Nuggets. They always lose. It's always bad.
The Nuggets also always get the 1 p.m. start in New York a Saturday.
It's so true.
And they have it again this Saturday. And they get it every single year.
This is terrible. This is at least with all of these players out, you don't at least raise your hopes. You're just like, can we just get through this, please?
Yeah. It definitely is that way. I mean, even with myself, I'm in the protocols. I don't think I have COVID. I took a test yesterday. I'm pretty sure I just have a cold, but it's one of those things where you're just every time you sneeze, you're like, oh crap. I better not be around anyone for a few days.
And it's December. It's just it's going to be a lot of false alarms going around.
But you are vaccinated, Adam. So
and boosted. I even got the booster, man.
Yeah, you're not going to miss several games, though.
Yeah,
Right.
well, hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully, the protocols are the short protocols for me. Before we get into Miroslav is going to join us, we're going to have a lot of like important conversation here. But I thought I'd start us off with a little fun, just to get the vibes feeling a little bit better. Miroslav, you're just gonna have to hang tight for us for a few minutes. I see he just popped in. He says 15 minutes, but he's so fast, you know, he's always ahead of the schedule.
Serbian time runs 15 minutes fast.
Serbian time does run fast. So first, I saw this somewhere the other day and I thought it was really cool. Kel, you could bring up the first one. These are Gatorade bottles throughout the years. Eric, we're fellow olds. The only one of these I don't really vividly remember is 1967. And obviously the little beaker. But I remember from 1989 on, like very distinctly, that giant one, 1991. I remember going to basketball camps and getting that giant gallon of Gatorade. Like that's what I would bring to basketball camp. You just drink it throughout the day.
I know. Can we marvel at just how unbelievably phallic these bottles got? And then they and like I gotta think
89, right? 89 is the beginning of the phallic era.
Yeah, they were like we want to make sure that everybody knows that this is for power and virility. It's so even so far as the top part is textured. Every time that I drink a Gatorade, I'm like, what is happening here?
Male form corner. Yeah.
Male form corner. I will say, no, bring it back up, Kale. I want to keep looking at these phallic bottles here.
Yeah, don't show my face after that.
I will say, so I remember like the 1989 one is like a pretty good sized bottle because I don't know what they come in now, like a 20 ounce. That's like a good like 30 ounce bottle. I missed those ones. Do you, Harrison? You're not quite as old. Do any of these like? Do you really remember them?
Well, 1993 isn't that similar to the one we have today, or is it bigger?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Other than that, no. I have no recollection of any of these.
Vogt, you don't remember 95 or 96?
I remember 96 big time. Yeah.
Really? I don't.
No, yeah, you could still find 96 in like a corner store. You know what I mean? It had some cultural staying power, even if it did get replaced. But 96 was probably my first Gatorade bottle that I remember. 1991. Is that a water cooler? What's going on? It's enormous.
I'm telling you, it's a gallon. It's like a gallon of Gatorade that you would bring to camp.
Yeah, you would bring it to your baseball game, and then if you were actually in the field playing, that whoever was on the bench would steal your goddamn Gatorade.
Oh yeah, this was a communal Gatorade for sure.
Yeah, I love 1993. Gatorade goes, you know what? Too many ounces. That's the line. That's too
well,
much.
To be clear, you could buy other sizes besides that in 1991.
Right.
That was just
that 1991. That's the soccer tournament Gatorade. That's the tournament you bring to a soccer tournament. That's what you bring to a soccer tournament when you've got 3 games in one day.
By game number 3, it's like 98 degrees. It's like very hot. It's disgusting. All right, let's go to the next slide here, Kale. Let's see the upgraded. Here we go. I'm telling you guys. 1998, the all-time GOAT bottle. That's the GOAT Gatorade bottle. 1998.
With the twist,
I agree.
The little twist thing. It was like easy to drink. I'm telling you, that thing. I don't know why they got rid of it.
Well, they just updated it. The 2004 version's the same thing, just cooler.
It is. Well, okay. Either one. I'm just saying that little twisty top, man. That was the GOAT. I gotta say that the current bottle, not that good. Not nearly phallic enough.
2009.
That's the problem.
2009, they were loud and proud. They really wanted to bring back the old feelings.
So ridiculous. Anyway, I thought it was funny. I was looking at this and I was like, it's funny the things you can become nostalgic for. Gatorade bottle.
Well, luckily for you, none of these bottles are gone.
Are they still around?
No, they're here on Earth. None of them have biodegraded. You're definitely running to one at a beach or something.
Not made of recyclable materials for sure.
They're just in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah. Like you don't have to feel nostalgic. You can just go to the beach.
In Jersey, that is definitely true.
All right, we got one more slide here coming up, and this is that there was a study published about which teams complain the most about officials online.
I know this cannot be real.
I don't think that this was a very scientific study, but according to this, Lakers fans, go back to the first one there. Lakers fans complain about officiating more than any other fan base on earth. I don't need to check the numbers, guys. I feel like this checks out.
What are the units that are being measured?
That's the big question, because all this graph tells me is they're just there's no Portland Trailblazers fans that exist online. There's just
Oh.
none of them.
Oh, but they almost got to a 4,000.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
2,000.
Yeah,
There are a total of 10 Portland Trailblazers fans on social media. Total of 10.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
I think
listen,
it was complaints about officiating.
There's only
number of
10
tweets.
Portland fans complaining. on
I
social
mean, don't you feel like that pretty much just corresponds directly with how many fans of each team there are?
Probably,
Yes.
Eric. Probably.
All right. I have the part of the graphic that got cut off when I put it on our background.
Oh,
It's based on mentions of complaints on social media over a 1-month span about officiating with that title, with that name in the
See, here's what people aren't considering. What if the Blazers were just officiated really, really well then?
Oh,
It's a great
or
point.
what if everyone in Portland is just very level-headed and they will take what comes?
My guy Dan Moraine easily surpassed that number of tweets. So like I know this is not right. He solely had more than 10 tweets complaining. Just in the Nuggets game, he had more than 10. So there's definitely this is not accurate.
For freedom, I believe.
But if you pull up that first one, you're right. This is a terribly like whoever did this is like not good at math and statistics because it's just Lakers, Knicks, Nets, Bulls, Warriors. That's just
that person's an idiot. But who decided to put this on the show is another question.
Well, Eric, I wanted an opportunity to complain about the Lakers being entitled. That's
okay. I'm back in. This is a great graph.
I mean, look at how entitled those Lakers, Knicks, Nets,
my
Bulls fans
God.
are. Just
What the one thing I actually believe about this graph is that Thunder fans just don't complain at all about the officiating because Thunder fans are just nice Midwest people who
Just happy to be there.
just
Actually,
sit down and watch a basketball game, and win or lose, they just enjoy it.
well,
So
hold on.
I
Listen here.
believe that.
I'm actually starting to buy into this graph a little bit. Every market at the bottom is a small market, with the potential exception of the Toronto Raptors, which we all know are Canadians.
Canadian.
So
it's so true.
it's the biggest city, but it's full of Canadians. So that actually works, right?
I'm telling you, there's something to this. Denver, though, by the way, like very good. We came out very good.
Oh,
I
we
think
did,
I had
guys.
two ref complaint tweets this month, though. I feel kind of bad. Actually, it wasn't. I don't feel bad. It was that charge call where the guy was in the circle and they reviewed it and confirmed it. And I just
I'm
called
going
it
to send
the
one
worst
out
charge.
right now. I feel like we have leeway. Look how much we have up to
That's true. Yeah, there's
4,000
room to
tweets
spare.
before anyone starts.
Owls to
complaining.
give. Yeah.
We have a game in hand over here.
Kale, if we could we bring on our guest today who is gracious enough to join us with very little warning, very little heads up? The homie Miroslav is here.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Warning about what? Did you warn him about that graph or no?
Dobro večer.
Go to it. Miroslav, that graph wasn't that bad, was it?
That graph was actually showing how many tweets about any NBA team there are.
Yep.
It's just not per capita, so it's
If
a
they
bullshit graph.
counted Serbian language, how many official complaints would you think there would have been?
I don't know, man. I don't feel there are that many Serbians complaining about refereeing anymore because nobody's stopping Jokic outside of yesterday. Anyway, so let's just forget the game that happened yesterday and let's
agree.
pretend.
Let's just wrap
Let's
it
It's
pretend.
non-canon. It
We
doesn't.
are
it's actually
That's
completely-
why
not-
we bring you on,
Smug it.
Miroslav. That's
Yep.
why we bring you on.
That's right.
Well, we are going to get into a mailbag here, and I wanted to start with the very first question, which comes from Flo, longtime, commenter and DNVR member and everything else. And he says, "Why? Just why didn't we suffer enough yet?" And I put this out. The reason I wanted that was the whole question. Just didn't we suffer enough? The reason I wanted to ask this one is I put this out on Twitter the other day. We are suffering a lot this year. But I feel like this could lend itself to becoming the season of a not. Like, hey, everybody's already counted Denver out. Like, I listened to every single podcast after Michael Porter went down, and everybody said, well, obviously they can't win the championship now. So now it's just, what is the participation ribbon now for the Nuggets? So, Miroslav, I'll just throw this to you real quickly. We could talk about it more on the other side. When you look at this season, do you feel like, hey, man, that's actually plays right into the not mentality of, hey, everybody's counting us out. Why don't we play even better?
Yeah, I will save a story for later because I have a really great parallel between the Serbian basketball national team and the Nuggets of today and how it can it can go to a really high highs, if I can say so. But give me just 8 healthy rotation players. I can give you all of them right now, and we can compete for the championship even now.
Wow, I love it. He's coming in spicy.
That's
Why don't
what
we
Wynn
do
was
it on the other
talking
side
about.
then? On the other side, we got to take our first break, but on the other side, we'll get into this. Why you think that the season still has a lot of hope for a championship window here?
Guys, at Ball right now, they are looking to hire production technicians for their Golden plant right here in Golden, Colorado. The position is on the front line of their aluminum beverage can production process at Ball's Golden plant. Company offers a competitive $27.39 per hour wage, potential increases at 6, 12, and 18 months on the job. It offers exposure to a lot of other manufacturing opportunities in the plant as well. The production technician role touches on the other stages of production, making aluminum cans and ends as well. If you don't know about Ball, they've been a leader in global sustainability efforts for decades. They make those 8, 12, and 16-ounce can sizes, and they got a facility right here in Golden, Colorado that they make those cans at. Like I said, they're looking for production technicians to fill that Golden plant. If you want more info, text Golden to 77222. That will send you a link to open positions at Ball at their Golden plant. You can also go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden. That's jobs.ball.com and search for Golden, or you can simply text Golden to 77222. This weekend on DraftKings Sportsbook, this weekend, football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game. But with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. DraftKings Sportsbook, of course. You can get your skin in the game with new same-game parlays. Get those in for NBA games as well. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code DNVR this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
By the way, I just checked.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, my back. Sorry, I hopped off for a second. So one other thing, I just checked. Peter Corneli's coming back. He went down for a quick little stint. He's been recalled. That gives the Nuggets again, I believe, 10 players now that Bol's out. So you always got to have at least 10, I guess. One thing I'll say,
Peter Corneli. I mean, the Gold had 2 games this weekend back to back, so it was going to be a chance for him to play. Like, that's why he got sent down, because they play Friday, Saturday, a back-to-back. But, yeah, they need him in Denver. So, quick practice in Grand Rapids, and he's back.
how ridiculous of him to fly down, like get in his hotel, immediately come right back. It's kind of crazy. But that's the state of the Nuggets. Also, neither Shams nor Woj tweeted out the Bol Bol news, which is kind of funny. Like, it shows you how low they tweeted out that the Pelicans are signing Gary Clark, former Nuggets legend. That is bigger news than Bol Bol.
Dude,
Gary Clark is.
Bol is sub Shams.
He's sub Shams.
That's so bad, dude.
And remember, Shams tweets presidential elections results. So this is really far off his radar.
It's really far off.
God.
All right, Miroslav, in all honesty, man, like this season, you know, it's been rough. It's been rough. Like, we knew it was going to be rough in part, but it's been even rougher, I think. Is your confidence, honestly, like, is your confidence in the season a little shaken, or your enjoyment of the season a little shaken?
Well, it will be shaken if we lose somebody like Will Barton or Aaron Gordon after all of this. God forbid. But if we can have, like we right now we have 6 guys I need, and then give me Bones and give me, I don't know, Austin Rivers, whatever. Yeah. And with those 8 guys.
No, can't have them right now. So
yeah, of course. But for the playoffs, for the playoffs, if we have the projected starters with Jeff instead of Michael Porter Jr. I am really, really feeling good about that starting lineup for the playoffs. Of course, you cannot push Jeff Green to play 40 minutes in playoffs probably. So we'll need to have more minutes from Monte Morris from the bench, and from Facu, from Rivers, hopefully Zeke. So I feel fine about that. But we never got those guys healthy together. We already know we don't have two guys for sure, and we hope for Jamal to return. But if by some strike of luck we would have all of those guys for the playoffs, that's a really, really good team still.
So I want to say I agree with you. And like the more I thought about it, Jeff Green, I love the way him and Aaron Gordon, I've talked about it a ton. Jamal Murray's still great. Will Barton, I still like his fit, although I'm a little worried that he's already banged up, but if we just go ahead and say those are your five guys and you got a couple off the bench, we're going to do that exercise later. But I look at it and I go, Denver can become the 2014 Spurs, like where they all depend on Jokic, because sometimes they don't. Sometimes the team does go away from him a little bit, and it's like, whatever, like you'll get back eventually. But if it's like a locked-in playoff run, we're like, hey, we know what we got to do to win. We're desperate enough to not go off script. Like, I feel like that's the key. I would be with you right now. I would be a Smugget. I would be all in. I'd be speaking Serbian. I'd be so confident, except for last night threw me for a loop, because if this happened when Denver was on like a 4-game winning streak or 5-game winning, I'd be like, all right, whatever. Denver desperately needed win. They just lost 5 games, 6 games in a row, whatever it was. They get one win, and I think, okay, they got to be locked in for a couple of these easy games to not be. So what do you make of the fact that they just, and when I say they, I mean Jokic in particular was just not locked in on that game?
Should I be more American than you guys?
Yeah, eat a hot dog when you answer this question.
It's 82 games. We literally say, nobody remembers the random game on one Wednesday night in December. So I don't know how this will turn out, but I feel pretty confident they will be able to get to 48 wins or whatever they need to get to the 6th place. And then nobody will be happy to play against them in the first round, in the second round either. So I don't know. Somebody needs to show me. I agree that Golden State and Phoenix are playing really, really good right now. I don't know. I mean, Golden State seems pretty vulnerable to me. I don't know why, but I feel confident that if you put Aaron Gordon on Steph Curry, you can have good results. Hopefully, because he deals with length worse than with the guys of comparable size. And about the Phoenix Suns, I mean, we just need to get back to them. So I'm not afraid of any foe out west.
That's right. You hear that, foes? We're not scared.
Harrison, I gotta say, I am a little. There it is. I am a little concerned about Phoenix, because when I talk about Denver being the 2014 Spurs, the Suns are kind of that too. I mean, they're a different team. They have a different style, but they just are at like 95% of their ceiling right now, meaning they're just so efficient. Every guy knows what they're supposed to do, and they run their system so well. So I'm with you. Warriors are a little bit different. They do have some weaknesses, but the Suns, Harrison, what do you think about that?
I mean, the Suns are incredible. The Suns are really, really, really good. I think they're clearly the best team in the West. Like, they're clearly a step above the Warriors for me in terms of the balance that they have. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, shooters, defenders, their depth, not maybe as great as the Warriors, but that doesn't matter as much as the playoffs. Their defense, I trust too. I think the Suns are really, really, really good. What Miroslav brought up about, like, who do the Nuggets need in a playoff series, I think is interesting, because I go back to when the Nuggets lost to the Lakers in the bubble. And what did we say after that series? Oh, imagine if the Nuggets had Will Barton. They just needed that other guy. They had Jamal Murray. They had Nikola Jokic. They had the 2-man game. They just need that other guy. So I think as long as Denver still has that, and they still have that Will Barton X factor next to the Murray Jokic 2-man game, they can make some stuff happen. but they do get to a point sometimes, and like we saw us in the playoffs without Jamal, and we've seen the playoffs before, even just with that 2-man game, where they just need a little something else, and that's why Barton is so valuable, especially in the playoffs.
Vogt, do you think Barton has still been the team's second best player? That was a lock through like 8 games.
Yeah, it's been a weird stretch. I mean, I've seen what you've seen of late. I want to be hesitant to say that like he is banged up. It looks that way to some, but again, he's not on the injury report, and so until we ask him and he says yes, it's a little assumptive. He has seemed to have changed what buttons he's pressing of late. A little more of a point guard, a little more of a catch and shoot dynamo than maybe a drive and kick or drive and score guy as we've seen. So I don't know. It might be AG these days. But what gives me hope, the one thing that's been pretty consistent for Barton all year is he's really shooting well. That outside shot is falling. And so maybe the physical sort of nature of his game comes and goes across 82 as he either feels tired or protects himself or whatever the case may be. I still like the way he's contributing to some of these wins all the same. But he hasn't, he has taken a step back from that incredible start to the season.
Miroslav,
particularly his defense, I think.
Miroslav, I've been, obviously online, I've seen you've been very vocal about being impressed with Aaron Gordon, as have I. Last night was the most interesting presser I've seen from him, and just in him saying like, hey man, I actually have a lot more to give. You're just now starting to see it. Tell me what you've seen from him this season, but also what your confidence level is that maybe he actually has, as he put it, more gears he can get to.
I'm looking forward to see it. Honestly, I haven't watched a lot of him while he was in Orlando, like 2 times a year, and that's it. And probably less than that because he was injured quite often. I just hope he will remain healthy for the remainder of the season because he doesn't have a really great track record of being healthy for the whole season. So as what I said, I feel confident in them, but I don't feel confident in them really being healthy by the end of the season when you have Will Barton, when you have Aaron Gordon. This is the only reason why I'm not just screaming the championship right now, because I need to see all of them healthy. And if they are healthy, God help everybody else. But what I wanted to say, what Brandon said about Will Barton, I think Will Barton took a back seat a bit because he doesn't need to be that guy anymore because Monte Morris is now playing well.
Right.
Monte Morris was really bad at the beginning of the season, so Barton had to give more of it. And now when Monte is playing really well, now Barton can be the third guy, the fourth guy. And I think he's been pretty good. The only thing I'm not crazy about is him not going all the way to the cup as much as he was going at the beginning.
And I think his defense too, Miroslav, has maybe, but that's also like as we talk about a guy who's trying to monitor his own health, I do think that sort of effort might be something that comes and goes. Whether that's acceptable or not, I think it might be a reality.
Yeah, he shouldn't be playing 38 minutes per game for sure.
Well, Miroslav, I want to go back to, I want to hype up a little bit here. I want to go back to what you said about you feel like, let's just assume the team is healthy, because you're right, that is the big variable. But if they are healthy, you honestly feel like they're the best team in the league? And when I say healthy, Murray, whatever you can expect from him, but I'm saying Barton, Gordon, Jeff Green, Jokic healthy.
Well, I do expect a lot from Jamal Murray, and I will tell you why. Back in 1998, there was a FIBA World Cup, and it was a lockout season, so no NBA players out there. The best players playing for the U.S. team were Wendell Alexis and Kevin Garris.
What?
Yeah, you have no idea who these guys are.
Those guys are made up.
Now, both of those guys were playing back in Germany back then because no NBA players and no top prospects from college either because of the lockout. So nobody that was applying for the draft wasn't there as well. But Yugoslavia, the small Yugoslavia back then that was only Serbia and Montenegro, it had a big problem because there were many injured players, just like on the Nuggets right now. Our best player was Dejan Bodiroga back then. His sidekick was Željko Rebrača. But the heart and soul of our team, Aleksandar Đorđević, the legendary Đorđević who won us many gold medals, he was seriously injured. but Coach Obradovic decided to take Djordjevic to the tournament. Even he knew that he wouldn't be able to play for more than half the tournament, just like the Nuggets today. And you know what? Sasha Djordjevic came in the quarterfinals, and he turned the game around, and Yugoslavia won gold. So those are the situations. This is why I liked when you called the season of Inat here, because I mean, just give me healthy Will Barton, just give me healthy Aaron Gordon. I know Jokic will be healthy when the push comes to shove. So just give him, 6 competent guys around him. You talked yesterday on Locked On Nuggets about his advanced metrics. That's insane. We're looking at by far the best player in history right now. I don't know for how long, but right now he is the best player in fucking history. So just give him 6 guys. Please give him 6 actual NBA players. Because what I'm looking forward to see is like Stephen A saying in 6 months' time, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. This is what I want to see, because it's inevitable. And if you have a guy that's really the best player in the world and no questions asked, how do you stop that force? There is no way to stop it.
Is just deep in his own
It's really
bag.
simple. I mean, can you imagine the scenario where Michael Jordan doesn't win a single championship because he has bad teammates around him? No way. The best guy always prevails. He's not the Charles Barkley. He's not the Karl Malone.
Oh, I like it. Eric, can you match this? Like, is this like out of your league? Can you channel your best nuggets here? Like,
well, my thing is like we've always known that this part of the season was going to suck. This is one of these things where you are in the middle of a terrible hike and it sucks. But you know that like Jamal Murray is coming back. Like we saw when Gary Harris came back, like he was able to immediately flip the Jazz series, right? Like having good players in the court matters. Like I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out in time. I just know that what Miroslav is saying is like fundamentally true. Like we have some of the best pieces in the league that know how to play together, and theoretically, like they should do, in that Nikola Jokic is better than he's been. If Murray can just sort of like reach some portion of what he was, adding Aaron Gordon, like this whole like last year plus 2 years, whatever, has just been like broken promises. Like we have all of these things that we can look and we can see and we can project and we know how it's all going to work out, and then just something gets taken from us that has nothing to do with the construction of the basketball team. And obviously that you can't overcome that. But if in the God of sport is able to forgive us for our smugget transgressions, then like why? Like I don't see why not, right? Like we can at least compete. We played against the Suns. Granted, it was the first game of the season, but we beat the snot out of them. Like maybe
they looked really good too. Like this is what
they looked so good. They weren't
in
just like screwing up. Yes. So I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not counting the Nuggets out. Like I definitely don't feel like it's over. I feel like we're in a portion that's going to suck. Like just buckle up, everybody. This is going to suck for some portion of time. Like we just have to get to the goddamn playoffs.
The funny thing is it doesn't suck the whole time. Like we did have the Miami game, which was like awesome. I think what you mean is that it might not just be a momentum builder. Like there might not be momentum. It's just going to be like good, bad.
No,
good,
I mean that's what I mean. Like this today sucks. Like, but the day before was awesome. Like, but in the aggregate, it's just sort of like, man, it's just like a bummer. It's like not exactly what this team can be, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be up and down. Like our margin of error is razor thin right now. And so,
here's my hope, Harrison, and you could tell me if you agree with this. My hope is that there is something we know this from our own business. Sometimes you get all the resources and it's like you screw up with them. Sometimes when it's like you don't have any wiggle room, like, okay, we've only given this pieces, you got to make the most of it. And then it's like there's more clarity, everybody's bought in. And that's kind of what I think with this Nuggets team is I think they can get to the point where it's like we know exactly who it is we have to be. We only have 8 guys. And so, all right, there's no confusion. There's no wiggle room. We just go out and do it.
I just think that all this stuff that's happened this season and all the stuff that will happen and continue to happen until Jamal Murray gets back is fun, and some of it's not fun, and some of it matters a little, and some of it doesn't matter at all. Most of it doesn't really matter because the Nuggets season is kind of going to start for real when Jamal Murray gets back, and that's going to be the ultimate predicator on what the Nuggets can do in the playoffs, because if he comes back and looks anything like the Jamal Murray that we know, Denver can do damage in the playoffs. If he doesn't, and it's very clear, from the first couple weeks or the first month that he's going to really need a full offseason to get back to who Jamal Murray is, then Denver isn't going to be able to do damage in the playoffs. I really think it just comes back to that. So I think for Denver's season, all of this stuff that's happened, Jokic getting suspended, Jokic having these unbelievable games, Jokic not showing up in Orlando, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what happens on February 24th, just a random date that I'm throwing out there that doesn't mean anything, when Jamal Murray could come back.
What has mattered, though, and obviously I know no one disagrees here, but PJ Dozier tearing his ACL and Michael Porter Jr. getting surgery matters. And there are levels to this. And I think the difference between, okay, this is a group that can do this, and this is a group that we should expect to do this. I think the fully healthy Denver Nuggets would honestly have a seat at the table, a name in the hat for very best roster in the league, however you want to define that. They're not at that level without those guys. They still have the best player in the world. And when you do, you've got a chance. But they're not, with these injuries, the Suns are a better team right now. Just they're more complete. Right. They have more routes to victory. I'd still like to see the series, but that's the difference. And as always, a little nuance, a little middle ground.
Miroslav, before we get you out of here, what would is there any other final thoughts you have about the season of a knot, or just really just kind of perspective on what's going on with this team so far?
It's really hard to say. What can we expect more right now? What I can say about the end of the season, about what we hope to see at the end of the season, I don't expect to see Jamal Murray, the Utah series Jamal Murray in May. And it's not because I don't think he will be 100%. It's not the bubble. He will not be scoring 35 points a game. Even Anthony Davis was hitting shots back then. Right. So, but we do have Aaron Gordon. We hopefully will have Will Barton.
Right.
And if you have Jamal Murray, who is just like a Will Barton plus, and you have Aaron Gordon, who is playing 4 or 5 pick and roll with Nikola Jokic until the death of the opponent, it's a really, really good balance. I even think that it would be a more balanced offense than what we saw in the bubble, and we know how good that was. Right. So I really feel that all the players are more mature than 2 years ago, or 14 months ago, or whatever that was.
2 seasons, 12 months.
Yeah.
Carry the 4. Hang on.
But Nikola Jokic is so much better right now than
the man.
So much better, and Jamal just needs to be a 20-point per game guy there. And if you get 15 from Aaron Gordon, if you get 13 from Will Barton, that will be enough. They will be murdering everybody in the playoffs.
Miroslav, thanks for hopping on with us, man, and giving us a little, giving us a pep talk. That's what this was. It was a little Miroslav pep talk.
Yeah, just before I go, I want to call a Serbian audience here. Come tomorrow at 5 o'clock Serbian time on K1 television or K1 television in Serbia. I will be a guest representing Nugget Serbia on K1 television at 5 o'clock. And I want to call Bol Corporation because guys, you do have a plant in Belgrade, so come sponsor Nugget Serbia as well. We can talk about jobs for Nugget Serbia as well.
You want to work at the Belgrade plant?
Oh, man.
Jobs.com and search for Belgrade.
We should set this up for sure. All right, Miroslav, thanks so much, man.
Ciao.
Adios. All right, Harrison, take us into our last break here, and then on the other side, we'll race through all these questions we got.
The Snooze Flip is the most universal mattress on the planet. You can customize your sleep experience to fit your needs. One side of the Snooze Flip mattress is soft, one side is firm. You can flip it to the side that fits your body best. The cover of the Snooze Flip mattress, it's also reversible with one side up to 5 degrees cooler and cozy warm on the other side. The zippable cover makes the Snooze mattress and the Snooze Flip a true 4-in-1 mattress. So it's got all those features, fully customizable. It's the best night of sleep you'll ever get. Snooze Sleep hooked us up here at DNVR. A lot of us have the Snooze Flip mattress. Adam's got one. A bunch of us have one. They're awesome. Seriously, the best night of sleep you can have. So what you got to do, go to snoozesleep.com, use the code DNVR, get $250 off a mattress and $250 off an adjustable base. So this is $500 total in savings. Use the code DNVR, snoozesleep.com, get $250 off a mattress and $250 off an adjustable base. An awesome deal. A really cool deal from Snooze Sleep. Make sure to get that Snooze Flip mattress today. Guys, look, buying a house can be really tough. It can be really challenging. It can just be super stressful. Mike and Virginia Chevalier at Chevalier Mortgage, they make that process super, super easy. Their ultimate goal is to take the stress out of the buying and the refinancing process. They strive to give their borrowers options with their full financial picture in mind. So check out Mike and Virginia Chevalier. You can visit them at dnvrmortgage.com. When you go there, get set up with a free consultation. When you go there, you can also register to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice. But most importantly, get set up with that free consultation, dnvrmortgage.com. Mike and Virginia Chevalier, they're DNVR people. They're Colorado people just like us. They've been in the mortgage business forever, so they know everything about it. They're here to make this process easier for you. Visit them, dnvrmortgage.com. Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631. Finally, Thanksgiving's gone. Christmas is here. What would be better than having Hassel Cattle Company Wagyu beef on your Christmas dinner table? Nothing would be better than that. You guys can still use code DNVR15 to get 15% off your entire order. Hook up some friends with an unforgettable Christmas gift as well. Just send them an order of Hassel Cattle Company. With the code DNVR15, you're going to get 15% off it. Or buy it for yourself. Make one of the best Christmas dinners ever. They've got everything at Hassel Cattle Company, the best damn Wagyu beef around. If you're in the area, stop into the DNVR bar. Try some there. HassleCattleCompany.com. Use the code DNVR15 for 15% off your order. If you order over $200 worth of Hassel Cattle Company, you're going to get free shipping. Check them out.
There you go. Couple little news items quick before we get to the mailbag portion here. We do have this Saturday, the Ultimate Watch Party. The Nuggets play at 11 a.m. So you want to come out, you can get Bloody Marys, you can get mimosas, you can get breakfast, you can get lunch, you can get brunch, you can get whatever you want. We have all day, a bunch of stuff going on. So if you haven't come out to one of our watch parties, this is the one to come out to. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I expect the Nuggets to play really hard. Like coming off of a loss, it's like, okay, they'll probably be focused for this one. So come join us. We'll all be down there. And then lastly, just putting this on your radar, this is probably going to be announced next week, but people listening to this as a podcast, whatever, we are going to be doing a party bus to Ball Arena for the Nuggets Jazz game on January 16th. It's going to be super dope. This is like a preview of something that's going to drop. So if you want, I think we only have, I just checked with Nuggets today because we're coordinating it with their ticket sales department, group sales, to get a little bit of a discount sitting down in the lower level, I think section 132. I think we have 96 seats available. So there's going to be 96 DNVR members all seated together, riding the bus over, watching the game, getting loud, chanting, cheering, doing all that, and then going back to the bar to get drunk afterwards. It's going to be great. So you don't want to miss it. This is like, honestly, the best opportunity to meet people in the DNVR world. And just like, I mean, you're going to be drinking at the bar, riding the bus over, sitting next to each other, and then going back. It'll be a lot of fun. So January 16th, kind of keep that on your radar. Tickets will go on sale, I believe, next Monday.
Awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
also the
good.
best chance for a Munder chant to actually get started at Ball Arena.
That's
Oh
goddamn
man,
right.
will be the best moment of the night, probably.
You're a genius.
Yeah.
be great.
Munder.
All right, let's
you
get into some
imagine?
questions here really quickly. Denver Smuggets says, given the injuries, the Nuggets would ideally be starting Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Nikola Jokic after the All-Star break. I agree. That's the starting 5. And now, who are the 3 to 4 players to round out an 8 or 9 man rotation? I like this one. Eric, why don't you go first?
Let's see, who are the 3 to 4?
Monte's the lock. Like Monte's a lock.
I think I mean Bones. I really feel like we are just watching Bones get better every time that he's not injured. I really think by year's end he's going to be a very viable option, and I hope that he's part of that rotation. And also Zeke Naji, like same thing. Like we're seeing him get just a little bit of run, and we're just watching him blossom. So those 2 I would love to, and then Monte, like you say, is the 3rd. Like I don't know, man. Like there's so many like players that are just like that are so good one night and so not good another night. And it really comes down to like what matchups are going to look like. Like is Facu like an option? Like I have no idea, dude.
Well,
Answer the question, Eric. Answer the freaking question.
I don't want to.
Eric wasn't listening. I like this. Harrison, it's funny, man, because Bones looks great. My one thought is that I guess it hasn't really mattered, but in a playoffs, everything's different. Like teams scout you and they come up with game plans.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Bones hasn't looked great at this year is like every now and then he gets switched on to a big, like not even a big, just a medium, and he just gets mowed over. Do you think that Bones is a player that you're worried gets schemed out in a playoff series his rookie year?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Bones in the playoffs, you'll see, look, who even knows who's going to be healthy? It's not even worth thinking about it. But
no, we'll just assume all health, man. We got to assume all health.
Yeah, right. That seems like a pretty safe bet this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What could go wrong between now and then? Sure.
I think Bones could be a guy who one game plays 15 minutes, next game plays 2 minutes, and it just goes really bad for one stretch and he doesn't get back in. So I think he could definitely be schemed out. I mean, if the Nuggets and Suns match up, I don't want Bones Hyland on the floor when Chris Paul's on the floor. Like I just don't want that. So if I had to answer this question, I would say Monte is definitely in there. Bones is kind of halfway in there. He's like 0.5 of a player. Najee, I think, eventually overtakes JaMychal Green at that spot. Maybe he's already.
God, I hope so.
I mean, he might have already overtaken him.
It's time.
I don't think he did, though, man. I don't know that
he played
did
more than he did
him
last night.
Yeah, but J-Mike was coming off of an injury, but we'll have to wait and see probably.
Yeah, and then is there anyone else that
Rivers
play like
Facu and Rivers?
I'd say Rivers is ahead of Facu for sure.
Wow,
in a playoff setting,
right? Because Monte, it's your
Small.
backup point guard.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, what do you think, Vogt?
I mean, if you're filling out like 10-man, I mean, if I have to put another name in there, it's probably Austin Rivers, who, by the way, did have a good 5-game stretch there. We got to remember he's a minimum contract depth piece, so like 7 to 10 points, an assist or 2, good defense. You take that, right? So. Yeah. I think just because of size, he's probably in there. I think Bones is 100% in. There's just not enough bodies, and he's better than the other guys. And so the concerns you guys raise are valid, but he's in there. Like he's going to be playing. So I think it's those. I think it's at least those 4: Monte, Bones. I wish I could lock Zeke in. I want to lock Zeke in.
Right.
Who knows?
That's how I would say. I would my 4 off the bench would be Monte, Bones, Austin Rivers, and Zeke Naji. I think Malone's is going to be Monte, J-Mike, Rivers, and probably
Zeke Naji.
Probably Bones, but maybe it's Facu. I just would not be surprised if he was like push comes to shove, we're throwing Facu out there. So it's funny doing this exercise. It shows you how uncertain this question is.
That's why I like the question
at this point. So
I think Zeke and JaMychal Green will both play. I mean, Malone will probably play 2 bigs off the bench in the playoffs like he did last year. So those 2 will play. The question is just who plays over who.
And I think But the reason why I like this question is I think, we're looking at, okay, what moves do they make if they do stay this course and they don't fold and whatever. And we really are talking about the bench because I think everyone feels confident now at Jeff Green slotting in with those 4 guys. So it is about those guys and any potential additions, which I'm sure we'll get to here in a second.
All right, Buckets asks, rank the top 5 players. The top 5 partiers in the NBA, and have Harden yet? Should we be worried? This one's actually kind of funny to me. I don't want to rank the top 5 partiers. I mean, I don't know. James Harden,
Williams.
We don't know either. That's the other thing.
We also just don't know. I mean, James Harden's number 1. That's the only thing we know.
Is Paul Pierce still in the NBA?
No, but he can be on this list.
Monica, come by. So I don't know, but it is funny. I'm telling you guys, it's really Jokic going to a club in Miami just surprises me. Maybe it shouldn't, but it just surprised me.
Well, you have to consider he didn't go by himself. Like his brothers were there.
No, but that's the thing. He had an entourage.
That's right.
But Eric, the Jokic brothers go to every single game ever in Miami where the Nuggets are playing. They've never gone to a club after a game.
How do you know that?
Because we would have seen it.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true.
I don't think
I think that's
we saw because there was
safe to say.
We saw because there was a lit sign and some sort of bottle being carried around, and the Serbian national anthem was played specifically for Jokic. Like this, I believe this is not the first time they've gone out to a club. That is my belief.
I did touch on this in the Grays last night, though. I wrote the humble horseman is evolving into a new man. It's that they got new outfits, new cars. He's going clubbing with an entourage. Now, let me pump the brakes. I'm having fun with these observations. I am not worried. This is not the beginning of some exhausted, has he changed for the worse column? Like it's just, it's funny because we've never talked about this stuff with him. Here's the reality. He's super, super rich, and he was in Southern Florida for a while. So
true.
It happened. You know what I mean? Like it.
Do you expect more videos like this to pop up, to surface, like just random nights? It's gonna be like,
not after that effing Magic game.
No. Jokic is never drinking again after that.
Yeah,
Magic
dude.
With every video and everything we see that comes out about Jokic in the offseason is him drunk someplace. He's staggering through the streets. He's dancing in a tree. He likes to get drunk, guys. It's okay. He's a young man.
He does like to get drunk.
Yeah, it's like, all right. You know who else likes to get drunk? Me, Eric.
You do like to get drunk a lot.
It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I totally understand why Jokic does it. I don't think that we are witnessing a change in behavior. I don't believe that. I also, again, do not believe this is the first time he's ever been to a club. I just think this is the first time we saw it on social media.
It's probably true, man. Matthew Kimura asks, given our luck so far with injuries and health, where do you realistically expect the Denver Nuggets to finish in the standings at this point? Also, if D-Line makes an actual graphic with effort for around the association, I will come to the DNVR bar next game.
Okay,
wow.
Well, that part guess we won't see you then. That's too bad.
The people are clamoring for it, Eric. But in all seriousness, Eric, so you said this was going to be the year where it's like this is just what we get. So what does that mean? 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed?
Yeah. I think if we go back, I don't exactly remember what I said, but I think I predicted us being about the 6 seed. Like I envisioned this goddamn season going like this. Like we don't have everything that we need, but we have it in place. Like it just is not here now. We just have to wait for it. Like there's just no way around this. We're not going to sign a replacement for Jamal Murray. We're not going to find something that's all of a sudden going to make us a complete squad. Like we're just in waiting, man. Like that is what this is.
Yeah. Harrison, you want to just get quickly?
The comforting thing with that is the Nuggets have been so mediocre. They're 10-11. They're only a game and a half out of fourth.
Exactly. So, that's just it. It's like nobody's playing well outside of those two top teams. It's just going to be
the Lakers suck. The Blazers suck. The Clippers, It's just like there's a bunch of very mediocre teams that Denver's lumped
the
in
West
with
is
right now.
Yeah, it's a lot less. You know, the top 3 teams have always been there for so long, but it also felt like for a decade that like anyone 4 through 8 was really good, and would they catch breaks with their schedule and all and that. And I see a kind of a pile of mediocrity along with Win there.
Take that L on the way out. Ask, what are the odds AG makes an all defensive team? What are the odds Jokic joins them? I'll tell you right now, super low if the Nuggets stay 17th in defensive rating as they are now. Like they are free falling here. Vogt, I'll let you go first on this one.
I don't know about Jokic doing that. Not that he hasn't deserved it or earned it.
He was so bad last night. He's like already fallen out.
Yeah, he was terrible last night. I just don't know if that's the way that he is helping Denver succeed is going to catch much attention outside of Denver. Aaron Gordon better. And I think Aaron Gordon has
is that a threat?
Strong case for, to AG. You better do this.
Or no, to the NBA community at large. You better.
Yeah, or Vogt will get mad. But I think Aaron Gordon probably has a strong case for among the most underrated players in the league this season. His production. And at the heart of that argument is he's an all defensive caliber player. Not being talked about as much, but how about this? A guy brought here to stop wings is now also their dynamo point of attack defender. So the versatility, the range, it's all there. And should Denver be able to sort of stop the bleeding here and cauterize this defensive rating, he should have a strong case.
Yeah. Our last one in the chat is clamoring for it. They really want it. We saved the best for last, as we always. You guys should know the show by now. Come on, it's called a tease.
Come on, guys.
Lucas Ramil asks, who is the best candidate to sign a 10-day with the injuries and COVID protocols? The best candidate. Wind, I'll let you tackle this one first. Who do you think's the best candidate?
Well, if you're looking at the G League team, it's probably Lance Stephenson.
You think he's number one?
If you're looking at the G League team, yeah, he's probably number one. He's played well. I've watched most of the G League games so far. I've been pretty impressed with Lance, to be honest. 18 points a game, 7 rebounds. He's shooting it well from 3, 38.5%. The other guy on the G League team.
Hold on. Before we move on from Lance, I want to ask, how do you think his game meshes with Jokic? Because you had the great interview with him, and him like raving about Jokic like really surprised me. I would not guess Lance Stephenson is like a Jokic stan, but he kind of is.
Well, I'm trying to get signed stan.
Well, he is that as well.
Yeah, well, I think he's locked into Jokic because partly he almost signed with Denver last year. Like
right.
The Nuggets were considering a bunch of players in April last season. They ultimately settled on Austin Rivers, but Lance was in the group that they were thinking about signing. So I think from then on, he's been pretty locked into Denver. How's his game mesh with Jokic? I don't know, man. I feel like Lance is kind of similar to Austin Rivers in a lot of ways. He's similar to Rivers in terms of like, he can just get a bucket. That's kind of the guy he's been at least on the offensive end for a lot of his career.
It's so funny saying that about Austin Rivers, though, who like just can't get a bucket.
Right. But you know what I mean, though. Like, is the thing.
Sure.
You know exactly what I mean. So
could have a 15-point quarter out of nowhere. Yeah.
In that sense, I don't think he's a great Jokic ball player, but Lance he's such a vet and he's been around and he's played with so many guys. I think just his basketball IQ could mesh fairly well with Jokic.
I'm just trying to figure out. Funny. Oh, good.
Go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say it's funny. God damn it.
No, you go, please. All right, I just want to know if that's Lance Stephenson in the chat because that was the largest number of successive pro Lance comments I've ever seen.
Look at this. Yeah, this is definitely Lance.
Plenty. There's a lot. Did you guys forget Lance? What are they waiting for, Lance?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right, please, Eric, please.
I don't even remember what I was going to say. It was a great joke. Now it's going to fall by the wayside forever.
Damn it.
He played well with Sabonis. I love these takes, man. Keep them coming. Like, let's keep going.
I think he could be a good fit with Jokic. Like I said,
that's my best friend.
He knows how to play the game. He's got a high basketball IQ, and at this point in his career, like he's got to know that his best shot at latching onto an NBA team is fitting into a system. A lot of like how Austin Rivers did last year in Denver. So I think there's potential there. The other guy I could see from the G League team is.
Hold on again. I want to say I didn't get to say my piece on Lance for a second. Sorry, you're moving thick. You have to learn how you throw it around. It's very difficult. You throw it around everybody. Here's the thing about Lance that I think is actually super valuable to Denver. He gets into the paint. I've talked about this a lot. The Nuggets need guys that can get into the paint because once you collapse the defense once, Denver has guys that know how to finish that. Lance is an example of a guy that just can get into the paint. So I do think, like you talk about one playing with Jokic. Okay, if you can get into the paint with Jokic, once the ball's moving, Jokic finishes the play. And then two, if you talk about that second unit, okay, you've got Monte, you've got Bones, you've got Lance. That's three guys now that can break you down. All of a sudden, J. Mike and Zeke or Jeff Green, whoever it is that's left with that second unit, all of a sudden those guys just need to be floor spacers. So I think that's part of it with Lance, why I feel like he could be a really good fit.
Yeah.
He's also 6'6", right? And a single small forward is in fact on my wish list. So from that perspective, I think he also makes a lot of sense. Trying to bridge some lineups together, try to even out some of the roster construction. It also, here's the thing, we could talk about, it certainly seems like Lance is on the radar here, right? And the way Malone talked about the active conversations with Tim Connolly, trying to get
Tim Connolly loves hoopers, man. He loves hoopers.
That's Nick and Lance. Lance absolutely fits the Nick Young, Tim Connolly MO. So I see it. I see this happening. But that's not a report. That's just me talking.
All right, Harrison.
The other guy I could see a little interest in potentially is Devon Reed. Mr. Dependable, of course. So Devon Reed actually gives me some PJ Dozier vibes, to be totally honest. He's averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in the G League. He's kind of like the point guard of the Grand Rapids Gold, even though he's a natural like 6'5", 6'6" shooting guard / small forward. But he plays point guard for them a lot. And he can just kind of do a little bit of everything. He's a pretty good defender as well. He's like the Gold's go-to defender on the perimeter. So I think Denver could like that. He's shooting it well from 3. But those are the two guys I think are most likely.
Yeah, Devon Reed fits definitely the Michael Malone mold of like what he likes from those guys. Like bring in somebody that can be just dependable. Dependable. Lance definitely fits the Tim Connolly mold. Of guys like, hey man, this guy might have 20 points. He might have 20 points in game 4 of a playoff game that wins you the series. So yeah,
that's what these ongoing discussions are. Bro, it's going to be Lance, but can it be Reed? And that's just been like 3 days.
What about Stauskas? How's he been playing in Grand Rapids?
Stauskas got off to a really hot start. He's gone absolutely ice cold from 3 though. Over the last couple of weeks. I think his percentage is all the way down to like 31%. But he's been red hot and ice cold so far from 3.
Sounds like a decent G League player,
yeah. Sounds about right for Stauskas. Well, there you have it. I mean, Denver could also go outside of their G League. I mean, it does look like Denver might have like a roster spot that they keep for quite a while. So maybe they're a little bit more thoughtful on it. And I do look at Lance Stephenson's last few years in the NBA. He did play back in 2018. He played 82 games in 2019, 68. But I am curious to see if Denver views him more as a like, hey, 30 games, like we'll bring him in and then that'll be a piece. Or if it is like a guy they have for the whole year, I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Harrison, do you have any inclination about when Denver would add a player? I mean, this road trip would be a great time.
I've got to think ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Bring him in for that Spurs back-to-back, that first Spurs game, so you can rest Jokic and Barton. These guys, like those guys, desperately need to rest a game. I guess maybe not now that you lose to Magic, but maybe that's a game you bring them in, give them a little bit of run, and then you finish out that road trip with everybody healthy. We'll find out. All right, guys, that did it for today's show. We ran a little bit long today, but that was because of the Bol Bol news and all that stuff that dropped at the beginning. But we will be back tomorrow. Keep it at 1,000 with George Karl. I'm telling you guys, based on my text with George Karl, he's coming in hot.
Also based on every other conversation you've ever had with him.
Yeah, he's coming in hot. So that'll be tomorrow at 2:30. Do you have something, Vogt, before we get out?
No, just had the same joke that Eric did. So looking forward to the show.
All right, guys, and then don't forget the Ultimate Watch Party on Saturday. We'll see you guys there.